Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, world. My name is Barrister Pink Republic, aka the Princess of Umokpu Oka, Anambra State. Today, I want you to hold your chair just in case you are not privy to this information I'm about to give to you. First of all, I usually have a rundown. Hold your seat and listen to me carefully. Do not judge, but I want us to start with this popular Squid Game. From my observation and from my investigation, I found out that this film was an adaptation of a real life scenario that happened in South Korea in 1986. And what happened in 1986 will shock you. So I stumbled. We are all enjoying the but this was somebody's reality once upon a time in 1986. So I stumbled on a BBC article because I started making inquiries, but I need something proof, something tangible. So the BBC interviewed a man they called Han Jun-sun, who clearly remembers the moment he was abducted with his sister. It was a beautiful autumn, according to the guy, or autumn day in 1984. So everything started from 1984, but the Asian Games was supposed to hold in South Korea, right? And that is why the president at that time decided to clean up the streets. So they built this facility. If you watch some of the pictures that have been posting, playing out, you will notice that the guards are the same. You see the old picture and the new picture, the guards are the same. The interior are almost the same. If you have watched part 1 of the Squid Game, you know that glass, there's a glass part you will pass. That glass part exists. A lot of things, the door baby that uses that calls and people will run until they call pause. See the 2 door babies. So they have it all there. And guess what? They said they went through hell. Now I will not go deep into the article. I want to just bring out some facts from the article. So according to Han Song, this is the BBC article. It was a beautiful autumn day in 1984, and Han, then 8 years old, he was 8 years old in 1984, was enjoying a long hopeful trip to the city with his busy father. But Han's father still had a few errands to run, and he decided the quickest and safest thing to do would be to leave the children with an officer at a police substation for a few minutes. You will always feel safe, right, with the police, okay? That police officer would tear the family apart. A bus stopped in front of the police. Remember the bus that keep picking up people in the movie Squid Game? So it's also real. A bus stopped in front of the police station and we were forced into the bus. Han recalls more than 30 years later, a police officer exchanged unknown signs with the people who got off the bus. We had no idea where we were taken to. Daddy told us to wait here. Daddy is coming. We cried. That was what they were crying to the people and the policeman. They started beating us, saying that we were too loud. The bus was taking them to, I think it started from H. Hongjae Bokiwon, a private facility that was officially a welfare center. But in reality, alleged those who survived, it was a brutal detention center which held thousands of people against their will, some for years on end. According to testimony and evidence gathered from the site, detainees said that they were used as slave labor at construction sites, farms and factories during the 1970s and 80s. They were also alleged tortured and raped with hundreds dying under the inhumane condition. The facility at Angers Bokiwon has been compared to a concentration camp, but this story is not widely known, and nobody to this day, now we are knowing, right, has been held accountable for the atrocity that reportedly happened within its walls. For Han and his sister, their arrival was the start of a nightmare which would last 3.5 years, forever change the course of their life. So now, so they say social purification projects. In the 1980s, South Korea was booming economically. It had achieved incredible growth, overcoming the scars of the Korean War in the 1950s, after which the Korean peninsula was split into North and South. The whole country was in fever ahead of the 1986 Asian Games and the 1988 Seoul Olympics. Funny enough, that Seoul Olympics, our own, what's the name of this woman that sang Mommy Show blah blah, something like that. I'll remember her name before we end up this. And the government began pouring on the nation's rebranding effort. But behind the so-called miracle of Han River was a brutal and dark reality. In April 1981, a letter arrived at the office of then Prime Minister Nam Dok-woo. The letter, handwritten by President Chun Dong-han, a former general who had seized power through a military coup a year earlier, ordered the authorities to crack down on begging and take protective measures of vagrants. Under the ordinance, which allowed arbitrary detention of vagrants, social welfare centers were set up and buses with signs that read "Vagrants Transport Vehicle" began to appear in large cities like Boston. So in summary, because of the Asian Games and the 1988 Olympics, they decided to clean up the cities. So the difference between the movie and the reality was that in the movie, you went there on your own. You decided, you have this willingness to say no. But under this one, the reality, you were picked up. Even if you are just strolling and you look somehow haggard, you'll be picked up. So they were forcefully picked up. So I would call it kidnapped at that time. And they say they suffered and they saw hell. I was reading story till, in short, almost this morning, and I was weeping because I watched this movie and I enjoyed it. I didn't understand that it was somebody's actual reality. Because while I decided to investigate this stuff was that, you know, after the Squid Game, there was something they called discussion. And the guy was speaking as if he's the owner of the story. You know, when I decided to write this story, when I decided to, my vision, then I now stumbled on one article when I just said Squid Game on Google, and the thing gave me an option of brother's house, and I was like, brother's house, brother's home, 1986, and thank God I clicked on it and I found out that nothing is new on this planet. Nobody have any original inspiration anymore. It has happened. It's only that they are bringing it to us. You understand? They are bringing it to limelight. Oh my God, I thought this Squid Game was like a fiction, and I was saying that if it's reality, God, should not happen. I didn't know if that happened. Oh God have mercy, this is terrible. So I want to quickly move over to bestiality. Men sleeping, knacking with animals. What does the Bible say about this thing? So a lot of people, they've been committing these acts. But as a Christian, I will speak from my own Christian aspect. I don't know of any other person's religion, what they say about this. But as a Christian, what does the Bible say about bestiality? Now ask yourself, what is bestiality? Bestiality is the performance of any sexual act between a human being and an animal. And guess what? God frowns at this. Just in case you don't know. And there are so many Bible verses which I might not mention, but I will mention the verses in case you have your paper and your pen. Exodus 22:19 says, anyone who has sexual relations with an animal must be put to death. That is Exodus 22:19. Leviticus 18:23 declares, do not have sexual relationship with an animal and defile yourself with it. A woman must not present herself to an animal to have sexual relationship with it. That is a perversion. Leviticus 20:15-16 says, is a command this time around. If a man has sexual relationship with an animal, he must be put to death, and you must kill the animal. If a woman approaches an animal to have sexual relationship with it, kill both the woman and the animal. They must be put to death. Their blood will be on their heads. Deuteronomy 22:21 agrees and say, cursed is the man who has sexual relations with any animal. From these verses, it is abundantly clear, according to the Bible, that bestiality is a horrible, unnatural, and abominable sin. Why do I talk about bestiality today? Just this week alone, from Monday till today, 2 men have committed. I don't know if other people that have been committing it. I've heard of the stories too in Nigeria, where one boy was sleeping with a goat. Even herdsmen, videos came out that they were sleeping with what? Their cows and all that. But what made me said I have to establish it, I don't know. In those days, they'll say all those girls that go to Italy, that they sleep with animal and they pay their money. They sleep with bulldogs, they sleep with horse. But you see this one, this man, after this man, so the first man I would say is a Riverton, Illinois man, that is from the United States, has been arrested on CP charges and having intimate relationship with a calf. You know what a calf is? Is the baby of a cow. This is what? This is United States. Then again, when you come to the United Kingdom, this man court fines. They do not say punish or jail. They say court fines man for raping a pony. You know what a pony is, right? They are looking like horses. So the man is a 43-year-old man, Damien Ogre, for raping a Shetland puppy. I did not hear arrest in this one in the UK. Are they saying it's legal there? So what, according to my own Christian faith, is saying stay away from sleeping with animals, because the person is what? Bringing curses upon themselves. You must kill that animal. And they said for men, you must kill the animal. For women, you will kill the animal and you kill the women. In the man, oh, why can't they kill the man and the animal too? Women. But I still don't know why somebody would do such a thing. Most of the time, from this African setting where I'm coming from, I believe it's a ritual. That is all I can say about this. So let me quickly move over, because I want my videos to be as short as possible. It's Charlize Theron. In the movie she acted Old Guard. So we are speaking about the Old Guard movie, Old Guard 2, because Old Guard 1 came out in 2020. Yes, the Old Guard 2 came out this 2025 or so. So my caption, I captured it. What is Charlize Theron saying about women in action movies? So let me establish the story before I round up the show for today. So Charlize Theron isn't holding back, okay? You can also get this article from my blog, pinkrepublic12.blogspot.com. In a powerful interview, the Oscar winner revealed what it's really like being a woman in Hollywood action world, and it's exhausting. That's what she's saying. She said guys get free rides, but if a woman move doesn't hit, she doesn't get a second chance. Even after years of life-threatening stunts and box office wins, Theron says the industry still treats her as a risk. It's harder to get action-packed pics with female leads made. That's known. Action film with female leads doesn't get green lights as much as the ones with male leads. I think the thing that always frustrates me is the fact that guys will get a free ride. When women do this and the movie maybe doesn't hit fully, they don't necessarily get a chance again. That means if that woman act that action film and it did not really sell the way they expected, that woman, they will make sure it's like they will blacklist that person. The person will not act in another action film again. With this, we were aware that eyes were on us. It's not a risk that studios want to take, but they will take it many times on the same guy who might have had a string of action movies that do not do so well. So it's not only in Africa that women are not really seen as anything. The Oscar winner has starred in several action movies throughout her career. She has starred in On Floss, Atomic Blonde, The Italian Job, The Guard, The Old Guard, Mad Max, Fury Road, and multiple Fast and Furious franchise installments. She most recently reprised her role as Andy in The Old Guard. If you watch The Old Guard, it's a very, very interesting movie. But this one, if you watch part 1, they drag it into part 2. Somebody in part 1, at the end, they threw somebody, the mortar, inside a river. In this part 2 now, at the end, they will continue. That means definitely we are expecting a part 3. I don't like the way they are dragging the film. I want each of the film, that's the movie, the parts, should end in that mission, in a mission, not continue again, you know. I don't like the way they kidnap somebody at the end. That means we are waiting for part 3. If you watch Mission Impossible, the truth is that Mission Impossible, each of the Mission Impossible is its own pack. You understand? So they should try and do that. So Charlize also explained why she loves doing action film, despite being accident prone on set, leading to a lot of fractures and multiple surgeries over the years. She said, I love dance, but I would never have been able to go back and be a dancer again, right? She said, action movie gave me this opportunity to be physical again, to a storyteller with my body. So I might not have much to say today because, like I said, I want to be as fast as possible so that this video will not be too long for people to watch. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to shop with us at Antoinette Supermarket, 87B Olagni Street, New Okoba, Lagos. Have a wonderful week. Bye.